Hello guys, I would like today to propose a theory about the getting out process and the cleaning thing that we see in Silo, which by the way is an incredible series that started with 2 episodes in such an amazing way. If you don't know the series yet, if you didn't watch an episode, there is indeed a big spoiler alert so far, and I recommend that first you watch the episode before watching my video and having your own theory about it. Also, I didn't read the books, I want to precise that, and my theory is based on the series alone. So let's go into it. So guys, let's get straight to the point. My theory is that when people get out of a silo, they in fact see inside their helmet a VR of this so-called paradise that make them clean the camera outside every time. How they get poisoned, why they get poisoned, by what they get poisoned, so far we don't know. But this theory is, I believe, sustained by small details that I will explain later on in this video. Now, let's make a recap for the ones who maybe miss some details and explain the theory. What we know so far is that humanity is living in this silo where they provide to their own needs and manage to live in an autarkic system. 140 years ago, a revolution happened that tried to open the gates, claiming that it was safe outside. But apparently we know that some people try to get out and they all end up dead. What we see in the cell number 3 and on the cafeteria is not a window of the outside world. This is the projection on a screen of a camera looking at the outside world. We know also that all the objects named relics that were from before the construction of a silo are forbidden. So people are living like some kind of cave of Plato, and some of them eventually believe that they have been lied to and that the world outside has become hospitable. You can go outside the silo, but for this there is a price to pay. Getting outside is something that needs to be said loud and clear to other members of a silo, but once you said it, there is no coming back. And
to leave the silo is granted, but it is irrevocable. You have been asked to clean and have been provided with materials to do so, but you cannot be forced into cleaning. Once outside the airlock, you are outside the law. Have you any last words?
Sorry for all of us.
This scene describes very well what is the frame and the set of rules that enables you to get out, and there is no way back. Why Allison is convinced and wants to go out, it's because she helps George to find what is for real inside the hard drive. The hard drive seems to have belonged to a library who was there through a couple of 100 years, and inside the hard drive they find a video file named Jane Carmody Cleaning, and after seeing it, it's indeed a shock. And it's legitimate for Allison and George to think that every aspect of the life inside the silo is based on a lie, and the outside world is now hospitable. Allison also believes that there is a form of conspiracy that prevent her and her husband to have a child, and all these things combined, she decides to get out. And here she explained what is her view about what happens when, in fact, you are outside the silo.
What we see is not what's out there. It's what they want us to think is out there.
What's that? Right there.
Austin.
And that. The last 3 people who cleaned.
Or maybe that's not what it is. What if it's just rocks and bushes?
I know what I'm seeing.
Not if it's just what the computer wants you to see.
Why would they do that?
To keep us in here.
Okay.
So let's make a recap. Based on the video that is inside the hard drive, Allison really believes that there is an hospitable world outside and that everything that has been told is in fact a lie. She agrees with her husband that if she cleans, it means that what is seen inside the silo is in fact an illusion. So when she collapses and we suppose that she is dead according to the pictures, at this point we may still believe that this is an illusion, a CGI created inside by the computer to make us believe that she is dead when in fact she is not. This is what we know. The next moment is when Allison himself gets out and he says,
You were right.
when Allison went out, we didn't have the absolute certainty that what she saw was in fact this paradise green land. Now that Allison is out, we have a confirmation, but there are a couple of details that should strike you in this scene. The first thing is that look carefully at the difference between what is seen in the green space and what is seen inside the silo. Near the tree is the body of Allison, but we don't see it appear inside what Allison is seeing. That should be the first detail that rings a bell. Hence, as someone noticed, is going to get out the helmet because he realized that there is a problem. If indeed Allison's body is next to the tree, why are we not able to see it also through his point of view? Once he gets the helmet off, we can see that the global light on his face is more orange and his eyes change of expression. He realizes his mistake once he gets the helmet out. He realizes that in fact out, this is really hell. But how such a thing is now possible? Well, if we look closely at the picture that is broadcasted, we have an answer. Let's remind what Allison sees in the first place when she opens the file with George. Look, this is exactly the same animation, these birds who are flying with a shape of a V like migration birds, except that this is in the other direction because what we see is the reflection in the glasses. But the two pictures and the two movements are perfectly consistent once you acknowledge the symmetry. This animation is not a film of what the reality is now. This is something that is broadcasted every time someone decides to get out, and the helmet is in fact a VR projection. So at this point we can try to go further and wonder why this process exists. What did the people who created this aimed for? Well, the goal is simple. We want people to stay inside the silo, but to achieve that, a direct war and a totalitarian regime would oppress systematically the people who want to go out, would create a new revolution. And here they are very tricky, and there is a form of cynicism that, as we see, will work very well. First, the irony of the thing is, in fact, Allison understood a part of the mechanism. She understands that all the people who are against the government of the silo and who said, I want clean eventually. The best way to manipulate people is to give them the illusion that the choice comes from them. Remind what is said in the rule of what happens to the people who gets out.
You have been asked to clean and have been provided with materials to do so. But you cannot be forced into cleaning.
People cannot be forced into cleaning, but let's see things in a role reversal. People need to clean the sensor that is outside and show the outside world. Why? Because of the pollution that is outside, eventually it will end up showing nothing to the community of humankind who lives in the silo. If people inside the silo stop seeing the ugly reality who is outside, they will end up wanting to get out, because they won't be reminded of all the people who tried and who are dead. The best way to ensure this obedience is to have example. It reminds, of medieval old times, or even now in some country where there is war. You make examples, like people who were hanged, to remind that what can happen to you as well. So to fool people, there is this mechanism that value the individual narcissism. I will be the one that will get out the cave of Plato. But since the ancient times of the Greek, these things has been answered to the myth of the cave of Plato. It's once you get out of a cave, what does guarantee you that you are not in a cave that is just bigger? In a sense, Silo uses this trick to show us that we can be manipulated easily, thinking that we aim for the truth, when in fact this is just a bigger lie. On a sociological point of view, if you think about it, there is something that is a cruel irony. It's people who challenge the rule, who challenge this norm, are in fact used to strengthen and maintain the norm. That is terrible if you think about it. At this point, I would like also to make another remark. I think that people are not necessarily killed by what is the environment outside, but maybe there is a poison into the breathing system of a combination that is provided to people who want to go out. That would be ultimately cruel and cynical. But this is also a possibility. I don't have any elements, but I am quite convinced about it. I think that it can be checked if the combination are used by Jessica to go in the water in a future episode. Okay guys, that's all for today. I would like to have your reaction in comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you have some other theories? And drop a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.